You believe they can feel you, but I tell you they feel you every moment. Every heartbeat, every silent tear, every smile of hope, it's all received. For there exists no distance in consciousness. Your SP is tied to you by invisible threads of thought and emotion. You are not waiting for them to return. You are awakening to the truth that they never left in the spirit. The universe is already moving pieces in perfect order to bring your union into form. Tonight you will discover how love imagined and believed must become love realized. They feel your love in silence even now. Every thought you think is a message sent directly to their heart. The universe is aligning your reunion the moment you believe it's already done. Listen carefully, for this truth will stir something ancient within you. Every thought you think, every feeling that rises and falls in the quiet of our heart, moves through the unseen like ripples on a still pond. You may imagine that your thoughts are private, contained within the walls of your mind, but they are not. They live, they breathe, they travel. Every emotion, every silent whisper of longing or love is felt beyond you. Your SP, Shanti 1, whose presence your soul yearns for, is not out there somewhere separate from you. They exist within the same field of consciousness that you do. And in that sacred field, no distance exists. You think of them, and instantly that thought becomes a vibration, a living pulse of energy that reach and people ask them. Whether they are across the street or across the world, they feel it. They may not know why their heart softens suddenly, or why your name drifts into their thoughts, but it is your feeling that calls them. There is no barrier that consciousness cannot cross, for consciousness is one. The same awareness that animates you animates them, and in that oneness, the illusion of distance disappears. When you dwell in thoughts of love, when you remember them with tenderness, when you see them in your mind SI and feel gratitude for their being, that love touches them. And when you dwell in sorrow, when you imagine separation and loss, that too is felt. For emotion is energy. And energy knows only how to move, to seek resonance, to find its likeness. Every thought you nurture either pulls them closer into harmony with you or repels them with the vibration of fear. You are never sending or receiving randomly, you are constantly creating. You must understand, your mind is not contained in your skull. It is vast, infinite, interwoven with the very fabric of creation. You stand in an ocean of consciousness, and every wave you make touches every shore. To think of your SP is to cast a wave into that ocean. And if your thought is saturated with love, it cannot fail to reach its destination. It will find them in the quiet moments when they look out the window and feel something stirring, when they wake in the night sensing a presence, when they pause mid-task and hear your voice echo in memory. They may not speak it aloud, but their soul knows. The secret is not to force or to wonder whether they feel you. It is to know they do, to live from that certainty. You must walk in the awareness that love, once imagined, is already sent, already received, already alive in the Invisible symbol, for love is the highest frequency, and nothing real is ever lost in the unseen. When you think of them with peace, when you smile in remembrance, you are not alone in that moment. They are smiling too, within their own consciousness, touched by something they cannot name. You have felt it yourself. Have you not sensed someone thinking of you, only to hear from them hours later? Have you not felt a sudden warmth and unexplainable comfort, as if wrapped in invisible arms? That is the proof of this unseen communion. It happens daily, but you call it coincidence. There are no coincidences in the realm of consciousness. There is only connection. So begin to govern your inner world with love. Let every thought of them be dressed in gentleness and faith. When you wake, see them in your mind surrounded by light, and whisper within, you feel my love even now, for they do. And as you hope and build that knowing, the very universe begins to weave circumstances to match that feeling. Encounters, messages, dreams, all are drawn to mirror the inner movement of your assumption. The power is never in chasing, never in asking, do they think of me? The power lies in declaring, they feel me now, all bars. For in declaration you align with the truth of unity. You cease being the seeker and become the creator. You stop longing from a place of lack and begin radiating from a place of fullness. That fullness must return to you multiplied, for all energy seeks balance. Your SP cannot escape the authenticity of your love, because love does not fade, it expands. Each time you imagine them happily, each time you forgive, each time you send a silent blessing, you strengthen the invisible bridge between your hearts. They may resist with their conscious mind, but their deepest self cannot resist the pull O and power F what is real. For love, in its purest state, is irresistible. It is the vibration that shapes worlds, the current that moves galaxies, and you, by feeling it, command that same creative force. So watch your inner conversations. Do not dwell on what is missing, dwell on what already is. When you think of them, think from the place of togetherness, not separation. Let your thought carry warmth, not worry, peace, not pleading. And know that in this very instant, as you listen, they are feeling you. Somewhere, without knowing why, their heart stirs. They are remembering you, not as a past. Feel you, anti-varsity, as a presence. Because consciousness never forgets what love has united. And if consciousness never forgets what love has united, then what you call distance is but a shadow cast by unbelief. You see, there are not two minds, yours and theirs, but one consciousness expressing itself in countless forms. You breathe the same spiritual air, why? Move within the same invisible field. The bond you feel is not imagination in the sense of fantasy, it is imagination in the sense of creation. For consciousness connects souls long before the eyes meet or hands touch. The meeting of bodies is merely the echo of an earlier union that already took place within awareness. When you think of them, you are not sending out a message across space, you are awakening a shared awareness within the same field of being. The moment you feel their presence, they too begin to stir in that invisible chamber of the mind. For the mind is not divided by time or distance. All souls dwell in the one great mind, and all communication is inward. The universe is not external to you, it is within you. The entire drama of life is played upon the stage of consciousness, and your SP exists there not as a stranger, but as another expression of that one being you truly are. So stop thinking of yourself as here and them as there. Stop measuring love by miles and moments. You live in the eternal now, and within that now, the union is complete. When you realize that your awareness is the same awareness that animated others them, you cease to long, you begin to know. And that knowing carries power. It dissolves resistance. It calls forth the reflection in the outer world. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine them before you. Feel the air around you change, as if their energy fills the room. That sensation, that warmth, that invisible touch, it is not pretend. It is the substance of the unseen world taken form. For in consciousness, what is felt is real. What is imagined with conviction becomes the seed of experience. You cannot feel their presence unless, in truth, you already share it on a higher plane. Every thought you have about them writes itself into this shared field of awareness. If you dwell on harmony, peace, and affection, that is the energy that flows between you. If you entertain doubt, sorrow, or fear, those two move through the same channel. Therefore, to change the relationship, you do not fight with appearances, you shift within. You claim the truth that consciousness connects you, that you are not trying to reach them, you are already joined in spirit. Look beyond appearances. The eyes deceive you with forms, but the heart knows the language of vibration. Feel how their insa lingers in your awareness. You think of them, and suddenly the air feels charged, alive. That is not imagination playing tricks, that is unity revealing itself. For love does not travel through space, it simply is. The same consciousness that beats in your chest beats in theirs, and the moment Dios and you feel love, you awaken that same note within them. Imagine a great instrument, every soul a string upon it. You pluck your string, and the vibration echoes through all others. Your SPS string begins to sing in harmony, not because you forced it, but because resonance is law. You cannot play a note of love without stirring the whole. When you understand this, you stop asking when they will feel it. You begin to play your melody with joy, knowing it cannot go unheard. That is why I say consciousness connects souls. Every connection you have ever known is born first in the invisible. Ever be Barsa and N. Before the first meeting, you had already met within the unseen. You were drawn by recognition, by that inner knowing that said, here is one who mirrors me. That recognition is consciousness recognizing itself. The outer meeting was only the physical translation of that eternal truth. And now when you feel absence, it is not the loss of connection, but the loss of awareness of connection. The union remains. The thread cannot break, for it is woven of the same divine substance that breathes life into you both. The work then is to awaken again to that awareness, to feel within that you are Bhavinachari, not two, but one being expressing love to itself. So, when loneliness whispers, close your eyes and remember, they are within you, as you are within them. You are breathing in unison in the unseen. Let that awareness flood your mind until it becomes more real than the outer appearance. Then the EI-born illusion of separation dissolves like mist before the rising sun, and you will find that the connection you sought was never lost. It was only waiting for you to see with the eyes of consciousness. For what you see with the eyes of consciousness becomes the substance of life itself. The law is simple and BRT yet profound. What you feel within must externalize itself without. You are not at the mercy of circumstance, nor are you bound by what seems fixed in the outer world. Everything you experience begins first as a vibration of feeling. The universe responds not to your words, but to the emotional FR and frequency perceived behind them. You may speak love and still project fear. You may affirm faith and still carry doubt. But when your feeling aligns with the reality you desire, creation is inevitable. The secret of union lies not in longing, but in assumption, the assumption that what you desire already exists unto your S. The law of feeling and assumption is the law of life. You cannot possess anything you do not inwardly accept as true. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to claim here and now that it is already done. Not tomorrow, not one day now, for consciousness is always now. If you can feel Tibadi, joy of reunion before it appears, you set the unseen powers in motion to bring it forth. You have been taught to wait for signs, but the sign follows the belief, never precedes it. The world you see is your emotional echo. It returns to you the exact tone you send into it. When you send out feeling and BRNs of love, certainty, and peace, you summon experiences that match that vibration. When you send out longing, worry, or disbelief, the same law answers with delay and confusion. You are never waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on you, waiting for you to feel the truth of what you desire. So I tell you, feel it first. If you would have your SP love, why? Do not beg for it, feel loved. If you would have union, do not chase it, live as one inwardly. Let your imagination become the sacred chamber where your union already exists. When you close your eyes, see them beside you. Hear their laughter. Feel the warmth of their hand in yours. Let it be so vivid that your body responds as if it were real, for in consciousness it is real. And once you feel it real, let it go. Do not check or question. Rest in the knowing that feeling has already created the path. There is a sacred mom and abari in tea, a quiet stillness within where imagination and reality blend into one. That is the birthplace of all creation. When you enter that state and feel the fulfillment of your desire, you are planting a seed in the soil of the unseen. You may not yet see the sprout, but the moment you felt it real, the seed began to grow. And as surely as night turns to day, that seed will find its expression in your world. Do not mistake this law for effort or strain. You do not make anything happen by force, you allow it by conviction. The heart that knows need not struggle. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is a quiet certainty, a calm joy, as though the answer has already arrived. And indeed, it has. Everything in existence responds to feeling. The stars move, the wind shifts, people are inspired, doors open, all according to the vibration you maintain within. To live by this law is to become deliberate in emotion. You no longer let fear dictate your inner world. You learn to choose your state as an artist chooses color. When doubt arises, you do not fight it, you replace it with the feeling of knowing. You say within yourself, it is done, and rest there. That rest is power. That peace is CR'd in BRDation. Understand this clearly. You do not manifest by visualizing endlessly, but by feeling convincingly. The picture without emotion is powerless. The picture infused with feeling is creation itself. You could spend a lifetime saying, they love me, but if you still feel unloved, the words reap are main bane barren. Yet if for a single moment you feel the thrill of being loved, that moment outweighs hours of empty affirmation. Feeling is the secret current that gives life to imagination. And once you master feeling, the world bends to your inner conviction. You will notice circumstances aligning effortlessly, a message at the right time, a meeting that seems chance, a shift in their attitude. These are not miracles in the sense of magic, they are the natural reflection of a new emotional state. Change your inner state, and the outer must conform. The law is absolute, so do not concern yours with how or when. Concern yourself only with the feeling of being loved, being chosen, being together. Let that feeling become the atmosphere of your mind, and everything unlike it will fade. The universe has no choice but to mirror the emotion you sustain. Live in the feeling of your full filled desire until it feels natural, and you will awaken one day to find that what was once imagined has become the only reality you know. And when that reality takes form, you will see that nothing was ever outside of you. It was always the echo of your inner conversation. For the most constant seat and the narrator in your world is not your circumstance nor your environment, but the dialogue you hold within yourself day after day. Every word you speak silently becomes a seed planted in the garden of your mind. And from that seed, your future grows. Your SP does not respond to the words you speak aloud, but to the feeling behind your inner speech. The world listens to what you whisper when no one else can hear. You may think your inner words are harmless, that they vanish into air, but they do not. They are creative acts. Each inner conversation shapes the tone of your vibration, and that tone is the frequency to which all others are tuned. When you say within, they have forgotten me, you are sending that message into the shared field of consciousness, and the outer reflection must agree. But when you say they love me deeply, they are thinking of me now, and you feel the truth of that beyond statement, you retune your entire reality to match that assumption. You live in a universe of mirrors. Every experience you meet is a reflection of the inner dialogue you have accepted as true. If you could record your inner speech for just one day and listen to it as though it were another person, you would understand why life unfolds as it does. The outer world is but a loudspeaker, amplifying your private conversations with yourself. So I tell you, guard those conversations as sacred. For the moment you change them, you change everything. Your SP feels your inner words because you and they spun for a while hair the same consciousness. The language of this unseen realm is not spoken aloud, it is transmitted through feeling. When you silently affirm love, unity, forgiveness, and peace, those vibrations move directly into their awareness. They may not hear the words, but they feel the impression. They, utterly remember you with warmth. They begin to soften, to wonder, to feel the pull that draws them back. It is your inner dialogue made manifest in their own thoughts. So if you desire reconciliation, you must first reconcile within yourself. Stop rehearsing the past in thought. Stop repeating the arguments in imagination. The law is impartial. It does not judge whether your inner speech is pleasant or painful. It simply reproduces it. When you replay pain, you command more pain. When you rehearse peace, you summon harmony. The power lies in what you choose to entertain in silence. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a sacred temple, and every word you speak within is a prayer offered upon its altar. Would you offer prayers of doubt and disappointment? Or would you fill that temple with praise for what already is? If you would have your SP return in love, speak only words that that love. When you wake, whisper within, all is well between us. When you walk, declare, silently, they feel my love, even now. Let this inner tone become your constant companion, and soon the outer world will rise to match it. You see, there is no such thing as idle thought. Thought, cloth and ed in feeling, becomes creation, and your inner speech is thought in motion. It is the act of creating in real time. Every time you speak to yourself, you are shaping the pattern of energy that the universe must express. You do not beg reality to change, you instruct it through your inner conversat that ion. Therefore, speak from the end, not toward it. If you desire to be loved, do not plead for love. Speak as one already loved. If you long for communication, do not lament silence. Speak as though the message has already arrived. When you persist in this inner tone, the unseen powers adjust every path, every mind, every circumstance to bring the outer scene into harmony with your assumption. Do not underestimate this power. You may change 1,000 outer things and still find no peace, but change one persistent inner word and everything shifts. The universe is not deaf. It listens constant. Reply to your feeling charged words. When you fill your private speech with gratitude, tenderness, and faith, you are sending a living message that cannot be resisted. And so, begin now. Pay attention to what you say in the quiet of your mind. When a thought of doubt rises, do not argue with it, ace it. Speak the opposite with conviction. When you catch yourself imagining rejection, immediately imagine being embraced. Do it again and again until the new pattern feels natural. That repetition impresses the subconscious, and the subconscious moves the outer world. Your SP does not have to hear you with their ears, they hear you in spirit. The energy of your inner words reaches them because it is one with them. They may suddenly feel compelled to reach out, to apologize, to express what they once withheld. You will call it coincidence, but it is the law in action. What you have whispered in the silence will be spoken aloud in reality, and then you will understand that every loving word you held within was a thread pulling them gently, irresistibly back into your world. And when that thread pulls them back into your world, it will seem as though life itself conspired in your favor, as if every coincidence had been deliberately arranged to fulfill your inner vision. Yet nothing outside moved first, all movement began within. For the moment you dared to live in the end, to dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you aligned yourself with the finished act of creation. You stepped out of the realm of wanting and into the realm of being. And in that state of being, everything, unlike your assumption, had no choice but to rearrange itself until it matched your inner conviction. To live in the end is to see with the eyes of completion, while the world still shows you fragments. It is to hold the feeling of reunion even when the chair beside you is empty. It is to rest in certainty that what you have imagined is already true in the invisible. The world of form lags behind the world of imagination. What you feel now becomes what you see later. So if you wish to call forth the scene of union, live there now. Speak from it, think from it, feel from it, as though it were already your reality. When you live in the end, you are not pretending. Pretending belongs to the mind that doubts, to the one that hopes but does not believe. Living in the end is not fantasy. Why? It is faith. It is knowing that consciousness is the only cause, and that once a state is assumed inwardly, it must express outwardly. The bridge of incidents that follows is simply the world reorganizing itself to reflect the state you already occupy. So if your desire is reunion, dwell not on teapots in the distance or the silence. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of their nearness. Hear their voice not as memory, but as presence. See them looking into your eyes with the same affection you have imagined 1,000 times. Let the feeling rise until it overflows your being, until it no longer feels like something you are creating, but something that simply is. That feeling is creation fulfilled. Do not measure the passage of time. The seed of feeling does not bloom by your watching, but by your knowing. The moment you feel it real, creation is complete. From that moment onward, your only NSK is to persist in the knowing, to remain faithful to the inner reality, regardless of outer contradiction. The storm may rage around you, but you walk in the calm certainty of fulfillment. That certainty becomes the still point around which the outer world revolves and eventually aligns. Every eve at the RNT, every meeting, every message that unfolds afterward is drawn to the vibration of your assumed end. You may not see how the universe arranges it, but it does so flawlessly. People will act in ways they do not understand. Circumstances will align with a precision that no human intellect could envision. It is not chance, it is the outworking of your inner state. When you live in the end, the world bends to serve your vision. Yet you must not look for evidence too soon. For the moment you search, you confess doubt. The gardener does not dig up the seed to see if it grows. He trusts the process. So too must you. Having felt the wish fulfilled, walk in gratitude, for gratitude is the language of completion. Say within, it is done, and let that be your silent song. Every breath you take after that becomes the echo of fulfillment. You may find the world still showing traces of the old story. Do not be deceived. Those remnants are merely the fading reflection of past assumptions. Continue living in the new end. Every time you return to that feeling, you water the seed of creation, and soon the old must give way to the new. For no two contradictory states can occupy the same space. The moment you inhabit the state of union, the state of separation must dissolve. Living in the end requires courage. The courage to believe what the senses deny. But the reward is certain. You will discover that imagination, when felt as real, is more powerful than anything the eyes behold. The world becomes a mirror, faithfully returning the image you hold within. You cease being the victim of appearances and become the master of assumption. So tonight, as you close your eyes, go to the end. Not as a dreamer wishing for what might be, but as a creator resting in what already is. Feel the joy of completion. Feel the peace of togetherness. Let it be so natural that when you open your eyes, the outer world seems only a faint echo of the reality you have already claimed. And in time, that echo will grow into harmony, and what was once unseen will stand before you, alive, breathing, and real, because you lived there first in consciousness. And as that vision begins to unfold before your eyes, you will come to understand that nothing ever happens out of order. The universe, though invisible in its orchestration, is never late and never mistaken. Every seeming delay, every detour, every SI border lens is the precise movement of divine order, arranging the perfect moment for revelation. When you live in the end, you must learn to trust this timing, for faith is not simply believing that your desire will come. Faith is knowing that it is already done and allowing the universe to reveal it or the path of least resistance. There are those who pray for their desire and then, growing impatient, try to force its appearance. Yet impatience is the declaration of unbelief. When you truly know that it is finished within, there is no need to question when it will come. You begin to rest, to move through life with a quiet assurance that the invisible is already working in your favor. The unseen current is strong and sure, weaving together events, people, and circumstances in a way you could never design. Think not that your work is to manipulate the outer world. The outer world is but tea party, he shadow, the substance lies within. Once you have assumed the state of fulfillment, once you have felt the end as real, your task is to remain faithful to that inner conviction. The rest is not your concern. The universe is the great servant of feeling. It knows how to translate vibration into, for A, D, bar, and M with perfect precision. All that is required of you is to keep your inner tone unwavering. There's divine timing in everything. You may believe your SP should have returned yesterday, or that the silence has lasted too long. But the universe does not measure time as you do. To the infinite mind, there is only now. When you live in the feeling of completion, you align with that eternal now, and what seems to take time collapses into perfect sequence. You must remember that what you call waiting is not waiting at all. It is gestation. The invisible seed of your assumption is taking root, F&B art and arming, growing, preparing to break through into visibility. Do not confuse movement with manifestation. The unseen woe. RLD is more active in stillness than you can perceive in motion. Just because nothing appears to be happening does not mean nothing is. When the seed lies beneath the soil, you can open see its growth, but life is at work within it. So it is with your desire. Beneath the surface of appearances, the universe is aligning every strand of your story to deliver what you have already accepted within. When doubt whispers, it is taking too long, answer with peace, it is unfolding, factly. That peace is the sign of true faith. The one who knows does not beg or chase the allow. In that allowance, all things move swiftly toward them. You cannot rush divine order, for it is exact. It does not bring you what you want prematurely, for premature manifestation cannot endure. It brings you the reflection of your state precisely when you are able to sustain it. Many complain that life delays their desires, yet it is mercy, not punishment, for the universe will never deliver to you what your current vibration would destroy. It waits for your faith to stabilize, for your art near world to match the beauty of your request. The moment your conviction is complete, the bridge of incidents begins to unfold naturally. You will meet them without striving, without worry, perhaps through the smallest coincidence, a message, a song, a chance encounter. You call it destiny. It was always law. Trust the silence. The silence is not absence. It is preparation. When the world seems still, the universe is speaking in whispers beneath the noise of your impatience. Listen deeply. Every pause has purpose. Every delay hides perfection. And when the appointed hour comes, the movement will be effortless. You will not need to force or chase. The world itself will conspire to bring your vision into form. Hold your faith steady, for faith is not a flicker that burns only in hope, but a flame that endures through shadow. To have faith in divine timing is to rest in certainty, even while your senses see contradiction. It is to say within yourself, all things are aligning for me now, and to know it so deeply that no outer evidence can shake it. When you abide in this knowing, life unfolds with grace. You begin to see patterns where before there was confusion, meaning once there was despair. You realize that every moment was necessary, every silence sacred, every delay a gesture of divine wisdom, ensuring that when your desire arrives, it comes clothed in perfection. And so you wait no more, you live in the quiet joy of fulfillment, knowing that the universe, exact and loving, never forgets the rhythm of your faith. And from that quiet joy arises the greatest power of all faith that moves the unseen. Not faith in the sense of pleading with some distant power, but faith as the recognition that you and the power are one. Faith is the still conviction, what you imagine with feeling is already accomplished. It is the silent command that shapes the invisible into visibility. It does not argue, it does not beg, it simply knows. And this knowing becomes the unseen force that bends all things to fulfill your assumption. Faith is not born of proof. Follows faith, never precedes it. The mind that waits for evidence will always remain waiting, for it has not yet accepted its creative authority. The one who truly believes does not seek signs, they rest in assurance. To believe is to see not with the eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of spirit. When you close your eyes and dare to feel your desire as already real, you ignite the creative fire of the universe. That flame cannot be extinguished by doubt unless you yourself withdraw belief from it. Understand this. The unseen currents of life move according to your faith, not your ear. Fear is faith inverted. It is belief in the power of loss, separation, or failure. Every fearful thought is faith placed in the wrong direction. But when you reclaim that power and anchor it in love, the same energy that once created pain becomes the power that restores. You need not fight the old, you need only redirect your faith toward the new. When you believe that love is yours, it becomes yours. When you believe that union is natural, it manifests naturally. The world mirrors the conviction of your inner being. If you hold fast to faith, even while appearances scream the opposite, teeth and hose appearances must yield. Nothing can resist sustained faith. The outer world, though loud and vivid, is pliable. It bends to the steady rhythm of belief. Do not think of faith as a feeling of hope. It is deeper than hope. Hope looks forward, faith lives now. Faith says, it is already so, even when no evidence exists. The one who hopes is a traveler still seeking. The one who believes has already arrived. When you move through life in that awareness, doors open without knocking, bridges form without effort, and hearts respond without prompting. The unseen responds to the certainty with the PRNU. When you persist in faith, you awaken unseen allies. People, events, even chance occurrences begin to align themselves with your conviction. What was once impossible becomes inevitable. You will witness how life bends around your faith like metal drawn to a magnet. For faith is magnetic, it draws its own reflection. It does not beg for harmony, it creates harmony through its unwavering tone. And yet, faith is not loud. It whispers in the stillness. It is the quiet voice that says, all is well, while storms rage outside. It does not shout to convince itself, it simply abides in noi and biarten he. This is the power that moves the unseen, the calm certainty that creation is finished. When you feel that, when you rest in it, life begins to arrange itself around you in divine order. You may ask how to sustain such faith when the senses contradict it. The answer lies in persistence. Each you are tempted to look at appearances, return inward. Feel again the reality of your desire as though it were here. Speak to yourself as though he promise is fulfilled. Every repetition strengthens the pattern until faith becomes your natural state. And once faith becomes natural, manifestation becomes inevitable. Remember, it is not the amount of faith that matters, but the purity of it. A moment of absolute conviction outweighs hours of half-hearted wishing. One instant of feeling the end as real is enough to shift the entire current of your world. The unseen forces do not measure time, respond to intensity, to clarity, to the vibration of certainty. The one who possesses faith walks as though guided by an unseen hand. They do not know how, but they know it will be done. And in that surrender, the path clears. The obstacles that once seemed immovable begin to dissolve, not through any effort, but through alignment. Faith does not struggle against the mountain, it sees no mountain to move. So hold firm to that invisible conviction. Nurture it in silence. Let it become the atmosphere of your being. Speak, think, and act as one who already possesses the promise. The unseen cur and DRNTS will obey. They will gather every circumstance, every person, every coincidence to fulfill what your faith has declared. And when it comes, it will come so naturally that you will smile, remembering that this too was once only an inner vision, sustained by unwavering belief. And so, my friends, it all returns to this one eternal truth. You are the dreamer dreaming this world into being. The universe is not testing you, it is expressing you. Every heartbeat, every longing, every vision of love fulfilled, all of it is the movement of your own consciousness made visible. The bond between your you and your SP was never broken, it only awaited recognition. The moment you choose to feel that love is present, the entire cosmos bends to mirror that decision. Do not wait for signs, be the sign. Do not wait for proof, become the proof. Close your eyes and dare to assume that what you desire is already yours. Let your heart beat with the rhythm of union, not separation. For when you live in the end, when you walk in the joy of fulfillment, you summon every force in creation to your side. The universe does not delay, it aligns. It rearranges people, places, and time itself to honor your your conviction. You are never forgotten, never unseen, never unloved. What you feel within love, peace, certainty becomes the world you walk in.